Okay, so to get us started, we're going to create a new project. Go over there. And then I'm using a Visual C Sharp console app. And I'm going to name this C Sharp series. Something like that. You can name it, whatever. And then I'm using the .NET 4.7.1 framework for this. Okay. Okay, I had to rename the project because it couldn't have underscores, but there you go. C Sharp dash basics. Can't even have that. Okay. Oh, it's the pound. That would be the problem. C Sharp basics. There we go. Okay. So it automatically fills in this file, but I'm not going to use that right now. Then with our solution, going to go down to add, and then add a new item. And it doesn't really matter what we choose here. I'm just going to choose a code file, and then name this first program. And then it just gives us a blank file, which is nice. And this is going to be our first file that is going to be created. So I'm going to create a class with hello world, and then we have to have a main function, which is sort of like Java in that sense. Oh, and it needs to be capitalized too. We're already getting little squigglies underneath, and tells us how to fix that, which is nice. Then in this example, they create an integer x, and then with the console, we write that out. And so basically what we're doing here is a couple of things. We're importing the system namespace. This entire library, I think, is what is needed to use the console write line. And I know from experience, I've seen like quite a few of these imports. You have system and then different sub-libraries of system that are used in almost every C# file, I believe. And then we created a class declaration. And then our class has one function, which is the main function. And then we go in, and then we say, we create a new variable x, and then we write that out. So if we were to run this right now, here's what we see. Oh, since we have this main here, I'm going to go ahead and delete this file, so that way these two don't butt heads. That's what that error was. So I'm going to go ahead and run this again. And so what it does is it runs this, but right away the window disappears. And this is because we're writing the line, and then that's the end of our directions. So it's just saying to close the window because our program's finished running. So one more thing I want to add to this is there's this read key function that takes no arguments. And what it'll do is it'll wait for us to press a key. So that way the window will stay open until we press something. So if we go ahead and rerun this, we get the product of 12 times 30 printed out. And then if we press enter, I had to press it twice. I'm not exactly sure why, but press it enough times, then the window goes away, which makes sense. All right, so this was our first little basic program. And right away, it looks like the book starts talking about functions. So basically, with functions, we can do console.writeLine. And we can say feet 2 inches. And then pass in some value. And this is some function that we haven't written yet. Let's do 12. And then if you press Control D, it'll duplicate the line, which is a very nice feature. Just do a few examples. And the nice thing is with Visual Studio, if you just hover over this, it'll generate a method for you right away. It decides that we wanted a bool function. We do not want to return a bool function. We want to return a double. And I remove the private specifier at the beginning as well. So basically, for this feet to inches, it looks like really quickly that also all functions should be capitalized from the beginning. Go into this function, our argument, we'll just say feet. That means that should probably pass in 2 3, and 4. So with our feet argument, we want to say feet times equals 12, and then we'll want to return feet. And this return specifier could just be int. So again, if we were to run this, it would go through and call this function for all of these feet values, and then it would just disappear. So we want to do another console.read key, so that way it pauses at the end. So now we can rerun this program, and 2 feet equals 24 inches, 3 feet equals 36, 4 feet equals 48, and there we go. So that is how we use functions and can call those within our main function as long as they're in the same class.